2:30. 2:30 in the morning. I guess it's a good thing that I don't sleep. Because I have a neuromuscular disorder, like MS, that is slowly killing me. But hey. Um, this is one of those times when I get really irritated with the internet because it should be this place where we come to learn about each other and to see people that live differently than us. And if we can take something from them, we take something from them. And if we can't, then we go, okay, we just don't live close enough to really learn anything from each other. And that's okay. You do your thing and I'll do mine. And that's fine. But tonight I got another one of those absolutely stupid, asinine, head up their hind end, don't know the world from nothing. Pretty sure if they saw a hole in the ground, it would think it was their own ass because that's how stupid they are. I am Cherokee. Hi, Cindy. I am Cherokee. Okay, I'm Scots Irish and Cherokee. I live in Appalachia. I don't live in a concrete jungle. I don't live to where there's a Starbucks on every corner. I don't even have a Starbucks. I don't live where there's a lot of commerce. I live in a very rural area. You make your living out of the woods. You get your medicine out of the woods. You dig roots and sell to the herb stores. You hunt your dinner out of the woods and you process it yourself and you put it in your freezer and you live a very close to nature life. And for some reason, stupid people in the world think that the way that man has lived for thousands and thousands of years is now wrong. It's now wrong because we've created these other ways for man to be sustainable. Well, how's that working out for you when we had the shortage in shipping and nobody got their stuff and now grocery shelves are bare. People couldn't get baby formula. Medications are all on shortages. Seriously, go to the FDA.org app and look at drug shortages that are going on. The world is crashing because we're not a sustainable society, okay? And so when I get stupid people that come to my page, when I share something I've painstakingly taken the time and love to make, and they go, an animal had to die for that. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I couldn't do it while it was alive. Um, it really irritates me that I get this kind of hate. And all it is people that live on concrete, live stacked in cubicles on top of other people like in a hamster diorama, and don't know anything except for don't make eye contact, just go get your frappuccino, just go to work, sit in your cubicle, don't make a friend, everyone's out to get you, I hate everyone, the world sucks, go home, watch your favorite sitcom, think that you don't belong in this world, wish something else would happen, then get up the next day and do it all over again. Well, excuse me for having a life to where I embrace my culture, I embrace the things that my native elders taught me, and I do things that are positive that I enjoy to where I have a skill set that if the world falls apart, I'm going to be the person saving your hind end, okay? So you can thank me later. Now, living in Appalachia is different, okay? My husband was a logger the majority of his life. My son's an arborist. He harnesses up and climbs diseased trees and takes them down. My daughter's a vet. We're close with nature. My father runs a cattle farm and he's still 70, 71 years old, running around like a 45-year-old. My mother was an educator. I am not stupid. I am not a bumpkin. I am not like this stupid little twit that you think you need to come on here and educate. I have my master's in psychology and I know exactly why you make these little teens, these little zingers, these little things on the internet. And it's because you have nothing you enjoy in life. So you have to go and suck the joy out of someone else's life to make you think you have some kind of joy in your life. Do you know how that's going to end? It's going to end with you having some kind of substance issue or some kind of mental breakdown, and you're going to be alone and you're going to have no one to ask for help because you have pushed away everyone who could offer you any help because they were not exactly like you. They did not live the way you wanted them to live, and they did not obey you completely. You drove everyone away. You might want to make different decisions in your life because you're not treating people very well. It's just a lesson you learn. And I watched people do this my entire career. I supervised murderers for the state. I took care of youth in state's custody that were not conducive to live in homes and were too young to put in adult prisons. And I dealt with very young children that had gone through horrible, just horrific traumas and had drug addictions and violent outbursts. Okay, I've dealt with a lot of crappy people. You want to know the shameful thing about the world I live in? Is that when I take an animal that is so numerous that it is ruining the waterways in my area, that it is ruining the watershed off of the Cumberland Plateau, and the TWRA are begging people to learn to trap. Well, my husband is a trapper. He's a fur trapper and tanner, and he has his fur buying license, has his fur harvester license. They beg him, trap all these things you can because they are coming in such numbers. They are damming up all of the waterways on top of the mountain to where there's no watershed off the mountain, which is drying up the rivers down below the mountain, which is drying up all the tributaries to the larger rivers, which is reducing the crops that can grow, the animals that can be sustained, import, export on certain rivers and tributaries. And it is also damaging the outflow to the ocean. And so we're seeing more land on high places dammed up by these stupid little beavers and going to waste. It can't be farmed. Nothing can be done with it. It's ruined land, and the water's not making it down to the good soil. So nobody can farm. Nobody can can have any food. Nobody can keep their livestock. And then it's also dealing with transporting. Gosh, I mean, that's how the loggers still move their logs. That's how a lot of mail gets moved in certain areas on rivers and tributaries. That's how a lot of just everyday shipments go. That's how a lot of the things that you need are provided for. Train tracks are even being derailed because of these little freaking swamp rats that are blocking up the waterways and messing up the waterways. Coyotes are another issue. Now, I do not, my family, no one, my husband does not trap to eradicate because eradication is not conservation. It is not the happy medium that keeps nature plush. What you do is you go after the transient and rogue animals that cause problems, that are aggressive, that stalk children and small cattle and small livestock. You go after those because those are the ones that do not heed an alpha and that know no boundaries and no rules and no laws, and they will just kill anything that they want to. So when we get a call from the TWRA, which is the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and they say, hey, we've got people missing domestic pets, we've got people being chased on their own property by, 2 or 3 rogue or transient male coyotes that don't have a set space, and they're just creating havoc wherever they go. These people need help because on a good piece of land, a good family of coyote will maintain that land, will be respectful of the humans. There'll be boundaries that will be respected by the coyotes, the humans, and all the other predators that are on that area. And it will be hunted, but it will not be overhunted by neither the man nor the coyote or the other predators. They all work in unison. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to see them all work together like that. But when these transient rogues that get pushed out of other clans because they don't know how to follow the rules come through, they create havoc. Okay, and sometimes these other coyote families, they can't get them killed. They can't get them run off. That's where trappers come in. That's where good trappers come in. We go out there, I say we, my husband goes out there and catches the rogue, transient, aggressive coyotes, the alpha males that do not obey boundaries, do not understand scent blocking, do not have any of the social skills that coyotes have to keep an area. It is better to have a family of functioning coyotes live on your land and have, like, a little bit of a negotiation with them, like, y'all hunt that, I'll hunt over here. Never the twain shall meet, but I know you're there and I respect you, and I'm here and you respect me, and we just kind of leave each other alone. Coyotes are very good at that. Coyotes are very smart. You never ever trap to eradicate, because if you eradicate everything, all you've done is stick up a open property, vacant property sign, and every transient, rogue, and aggressive male in 300 miles is going to come in and fight for that property, and you're going to have 100 times the problem on your hand that you have with just those few that come in. Now, in the last couple of years, we've had 3 people mauled, two to death, by rogue transient coyotes. So, obviously, in our area, we are having to amp up the trapping and the harvesting of coyotes. We have too many. The state of Tennessee has around 38,000 coyotes, which is actually a lower number than most states. But the rogue and transient coyotes have been more of an issue for the last 5, 6 years. Now, we have a more sustainable and controllable population than most states, and it's because we have a large hunter and harvester trapping population here. Here's where the problem comes in. It's not the coyotes. It's that every Tennessee resident has the average of 1.6 dogs, domestic dogs. Domestic dogs that are normally not leashed, not spayed, neutered, not microchipped, and are not trained. Domestic dogs have all of those boundaries, scent marking, and wild understanding of, this is my plot of land, you may not cross. We bred all that out of those domestic dogs. So when domestic dogs go into a coyote's territory, that's why you always get a very bad outcome. And that's why people are like, that coyote killed my dog. Well, there are different rules. And sadly, our domestic dogs, we've bred out the understanding. They don't understand the rules anymore. And it's kind of like the Papua New Guinea tribe. When you take some of those people out of that tribe for 5 to 6 years and then you try to reincorporate them, they can't quite reincorporate. Things have changed too much for them. That's what it's like. Okay. It just doesn't work anymore. So you have to do something to create peace. You have to do something so that these animals can have enough land, have enough prey, and live in a compatible area with nature, with people, because people are always around, and with other domestic animals. And you must also train your domestic animals to not go after wild animals, to not run after coyotes. And you have to train your domestic animals, and normally by verbal cues, that they may not run after a coyote, and that if they see a coyote, they come to the house, they get in the house, because there's not going to be a good ending there. We have had probably a couple dozen larger dogs killed by coyotes. Now, they say that, coyotes and dogs will roam together, and that sometimes does happen. They will adopt and roam, but it's rare. More likely, a male pup will be found out and taken into the herd and raised as a coyote. And so that male dog will be raised and taught how to be a coyote. Because when female dogs go in and visit coyotes and get bred, they still want to go back home. But in coyote culture, the whole clutch, the whole family raises the babies. So that female must stay with the coyotes, have the babies in the den, and the entire coyote family raises the pups. Domestic dogs that are pregnant, female dogs, do not do that. They get pregnant and they go back home. And then when the owner finds out they have a coy dog, it's illegal to have a coy dog in many states, so the babies are euthanized. It's very rare for a female to breed, stay in a den, and raise those dogs with the coyotes, because they are too apprehensive. But now, a pup, especially a male pup that's out wandering, or even a female pup that's out wandering, if it's at the right age, will be adopted, picked up, and raised coyote. It's just very rare. Normally, when you see, like, a cluster of what you think is Cody dogs or coy dogs is actually rogue dogs that have ran off, turned feral, and are running much like a Cody pack would. But they're much more dangerous because domestic dogs, once again, do not understand the boundaries, scent markers, and how to hunt. They do not know how to be efficient hunters. They only know how to do lust kills. So they don't understand. We take one and we leave the other 30 for through the winter. Just in my area, 7 miles up the road, every sheep that the local agricultural school had raised for 6 years was decimated by a herd of rogue dogs. And they wanted to blame it on coyotes. But when we got the TWRA and the vets out there, it was not done by coyotes. It was done by rogue dogs. And it was done by Pyrenees and Pyrenees and some mixed Pyrenees road dogs. They were very large road dogs. They were very dangerous, and they had to be hunted down and terminated. Coyotes are not normally that aggressive unless they're the transient rogue ones that don't have a home and are fighting for turf. Those are the dangerous ones that will hunt down small children, small domestic animals, steal your chihuahua, go after your weanling calves and your weanling horses, and will sit under your tree stand until you come down because you look like a chicken McNugget to them, okay? So these animals are not innocent, okay? These animals are just another part of the world. They're just another part of nature, just like you and I. And you have to understand that. I hold no dominion over them because if the roles were reversed and I was not capable, they could take me out. I am not the top predator ever. And you learn that here when a black bear comes and pushes on your front door and wants in your house. You learn that you're not the top predator. Now, I'm sorry, whoever left me that nasty remark, that you live in an area where ignorance abounds so much. Because there's so much more in this world to understand than just you, your laptop, the internet, and the nasty words that you can say to other people. There's a whole world out there of animals and interactions that you could understand and learn from and apply into your daily life, into society, so that our society could actually do better, be better, respect each other more, and understand our strengths and our weaknesses and blend together to create a much better society. But it's people like you that keep that from happening because you think the way you live is the only way to live. You don't understand that the United States and the world is such a large place that people have to kind of acclimate to where they live. I live in an area that is very rural. It has a lot of animals. We eat out of the woods. We don't have a lot of contact with the outside world. We make do. We're plenty nice people. We like to make friends. Matter of fact, I've got a new neighbor about 2 miles down the road moved in. I'm going to make him some cookies tomorrow and say howdy. And might surprise some of you to know that it's a mixed couple. And I'm just glad to have them in the area because they bought a home that had been unhappy and sat open and unhappy. And I grew up kind of in that home in my teenage years, and it was always a happy home. I am excited to see it be alive again and have happiness in it again and have a new couple starting out that's going to bring love into that home. That's how I think. And I would be ashamed to sit here and think, oh, gee, the only thing I can do is get on the internet and cause people harm. Cause people harm. I can't even talk about it. I just cause them harm. I won't even have a conversation. I won't even try to understand them. I just want to cause them harm. That's such a sad way to be. So basically, you are a transient rogue coyote. You don't belong. You don't have a family unit. You're confused. You don't know your boundaries, and you're causing people grief. And that normally doesn't end well. Just saying, for animals or humans, it doesn't end well. So if I were you, and I could give you just a little tip, I would say, hey, you know something? We come in all makes and models in this world, and we all have specialty skills. And it's better to know that you're a fellow man and their specialty skills and link up with them, even if it's something that you don't necessarily think you can do yourself. It's still a skill that may be needed at some point. And just because it's one that you don't think you can do doesn't mean it isn't one that should be done sometimes. Find those people and link up with them. Find people that are useful. Find people that can offer something other than a nasty, sarcastic quip. or a very passive aggressive, I'm better than you because I walk on pavement and you touch grass. I'm here to tell you the world is falling apart. Okay. Our leaders, Lord Joe Biden can't even take 3 steps without falling. Okay. Hunter can't do nothing but suck crack off a whore's butt. Okay. Let's just be honest about it. Let's just be honest about it. George Soros think he thinks he owns the world. The World Health Organization somehow has usurped my authority in my country where I'm supposed to be a sovereign citizen, but I have to listen to another agency because my government, who was supposed to ask me first, made me subservient to an organization I didn't even have a chance to vote about wanting to be part of. The world's falling apart because man has no integrity. Man is only out for themselves. And it's only going to get worse unless the people that say, hey, you know something, this is not right, we stand up and say, this is not right. So for you that left that nasty remark, that's not right because not everybody lives like you. And just because I don't live like you doesn't mean I'm stupid. I have a master's in psychology, I'm a retired parole officer, and a counselor. I have done so much in my life and I've helped so many people get out of addiction, get out of non productive or counterproductive ways of life, and to become people that they can be proud of so they can raise their families and be productive members in society. And I bet you, sweet Bippy, none of them sit at home at night and go on the internet and just try to find somebody that they think looks sweet and kind so they can say, I think you're a stupid human and I want to devalue your existence because I feel this hole in my soul and I want you to feel it too. Here's the joke though, honey. I don't have a hole in my soul. I have Jesus. And while Jesus gave me 2 cheeks to turn after that, it's up to me what I do. But I tell you one thing, when the world goes down and you need somebody to help you, uh, don't come run to my camp because my camp will be full of people that will love each other and will respect the things that people can do, the skill sets that people have, and the way we can live together in pretty much like the most pleasant, loving environment possible. Now, are we always going to get along? No, heck no. We're people. We're not always going to get along. But if you're seeking out to hurt people at 2 a.m. in the morning because you don't understand their way of life, you might ought to crack open a National Geographic, learn about regional dialects, learn about Appalachia, look up about the Cherokee, the Melungeons, the Lenape tribes, the Delaware tribe that came down to Tennessee and lived in the Appalachians. Learn about the hunting, learn about the conservation, learn about the waterfowl management that has been taking place in this area in the last 20 years so that we can actually help the migratory pattern of birds that were dying. We do so many great things, but you don't know that because it didn't happen on the internet, in a coffee shop, in a frappuccino at Starbucks, or in a shoe shop, or talking to your friends about the latest face jewelry that you got, or the scooter you got, or your green car that broke down and you had to hire a diesel to haul you home. I find a lot of stuff in your life that doesn't jive with me. And to be quite honest, I think it's silly, but it's your right to live that silly life. It's your right to live that silly life. And a lot of innocent things die for you, like those lithium batteries that you want in your little green scooters, your little green cars. There are children mining that stuff with their hands dying daily because they will not give them safe work environments. There are families being buried in huge landslides mining those lithium crap for those batteries. There is still slavery in the world, but nobody wants to talk about eradicating that. They just want to talk about what happened hundreds of years ago, but we don't want to deal with the slavery that's happening right now. As long as you have your iPhone and you can Apple Pay and you can get on your green scooter that you think is saving the world, no, it's not. And oh, I'm vegan, I'm saving the world. No, you're not. If you're vegan, you're killing more things ever to eat a salad because you're killing the baseline insects, more insects that keep the world going. The smallest microscopic organisms are the most important to our earth. And in order to eat a salad and to have a vegan lifestyle, do you know how many acreages and how many farms around the world spray it and eradicate every insect and bug? And do you know how low the pollination counts and fruit bearing is across the world because of that. No lifestyle does no harm. But me harvesting a few animals every year and using every piece of them, like my grandmother and great grandmother taught me, it's a whole lot less of a shithole than what a lot of these newfangled people are trying to create and pawn off to you as the new Green Deal. Sometimes a bartender is just a bartender. But I tell you what, this Appalachian girl, not only am I Scots Irish and Cherokee, not only am I, hey, educated, not only am I someone that my community sees as a pillar in this community that helps people, I know how to survive. And I know how to make things. And I know how to take care of me. And what do you know how to do? Say nasty things on the internet at 2 a.m. I want the world to be a better place. But I'm here to tell you, until we start telling people your persuasion and delivery of that persuasion is so erroneous that you can't function within the society. You need to be taken out of your element and put into a foreign element and learn something other than what you think you know. You need to take yourself out of your comfort zone and try yourself, see what you're made of. Then maybe you'll learn to respect other people, especially at 2:30 a.m. Swear to Jesus. I have a neuromuscular disorder, and like I'm hurting tonight. Like my hips and legs and knees and bladder are hurting tonight. Why are you up at 2:30 picking on people? Sad existence, dude. Sad existence. Sad existence. Jesus loves you. I ain't too happy with you, and I don't care to say that. Jesus loves you. Correct yourself, because Jesus is kind and gracious, but he will walk away. Do you want him to walk away? Because, I happen to think that everybody that was molded from clay, Jesus picked up some clay and he molded people, and he molded wonderful people that have wonderful skills and they have wonderful attributes, and they have this little diamond within themselves that they can shine and be this great person. But in all my time supervising offenders, I saw more people with more skills and talents and desire to be good people than I see in society. And those offenders that wanted to be good people, when they shined, they shined. When they figured out that God had molded them for a specific reason, they shined like the diamond that God wanted them to be. They went through some hard crap and it made a diamond out of them. And then I look at other society that has never had a hardship or has had everything spoon fed to them, and I am absolutely just 100% sure that instead of grabbing a handful of clay, I think God must have missed it and he picked up dog poop and molded a few people, because I've met a few of them. And I sincerely hope that's not you. And I sincerely hope that you start thinking about how you talk to people. And, boundaries are great things. And I've had a lot of people not have good boundaries with me lately. And when I try to say something nasty, I try to say it in the nicest way possible. But I'm just here to tell you, something? Some of y'all are as ugly as the south end side of a northbound mule. Think about that for 5 seconds, And the good Lord will only tolerate so much, and I ain't the good Lord, so I'm going to tolerate even less. So, the channel is going to be very much monitored. And if I find out that this is coming from one specific person that wants to try to ruin my channel because they think there's something special and fictitiously better than me, no. I don't play these YouTube games. I don't do this drama. I do my channel. I do what interests me. And if you don't like it, hit the door. I don't want you here. I'll take quality over quantity. I don't want a big channel. I want good people. But I don't want people to have to come here and listen to somebody's asinine stupidity and nastiness while they're here. And so every once in a while, I have to do one of these speeches to remind y'all, I am very nice until I'm not. And we're getting to the not part. And I don't care how many times you think my life is wrong or it doesn't mesh with what you think life should be. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. And if you have a problem with that, then perhaps you should stop hiding behind an avatar and have a conversation with me, because that's how things are resolved. Okay, it's not resolved through snarky little um, comments hidden behind fake pictures and fake personas on the internet. The world has turned into a tar pit of anonymity, and no one's responsible for anything they say anymore because they think they can hide behind anything. I will hide behind nothing. My name is Elizabeth. I live in Podunk, Appalachia on the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee. I got no beef with anybody unless you bring me beef. I can handle anything. I'll talk through anything with you, and when you leave nasty comments, I'll come and tell you where you made a wrong turn and created a fallacy, and I need to correct you on it. I need to educate you because obviously you don't know about nature conservation, animal numbers, populations, anything like that. That's okay. I can educate you on that. But don't hide behind a cartoon avatar and a stupid name and think that you're going to change the world, because the only thing you're changing is how you view yourself every day, because it gets weaker and weaker and weaker because you lose more and more and more of yourself every day as you hide and decline and refuse to offer yourself up into the society. We have a society of fake, scared little people, and that's why we're falling apart. What happened to the men that could do men's jobs and the women that were the helpmates and standing right there alongside their men and doing those hard jobs too? You know, I was taken from the rib of a man to be a helpmate, but I am just as strong and I am just as justified in having a perspective and an opinion and a viewpoint. And I don't expect everyone to believe that. If you think that you were born in an alien pod and they sent you down to Earth, that's fine. But if you hate it here so much, how about you call them and you go back up? Because I just really don't know how much more of these nasty little comments I can erase in a couple of days. We've got a lot of smoke here too. It's coming from Canada. Like last night, I was like, do they have the charcoal kilns going? Because we have charcoal kilns here. But it's actually some of that Canadian crap making it down here. Not a lot, but just enough. But I'm trying to read a lot of the national news, and I know that New York is just completely just stifled with smoke right now. And that's another thing, people. Read national news, read international news, get a VPN, don't trust your normal media sources, and pick up a book and read people that you would normally think you need to read. Read an opposing viewpoint, put a wrinkle in your brain. If you're going to come on here and tell me how wrong my lifestyle is, learn some statistics and actually read a hunting guide and understand conservation and who pays for conservation and the population of these animals and why they're trapped, why they're hunted, and why states recommend that we keep these numbers in check. And it's not because humans take up so much of the earth. That's not it. That's not it. These things right here, if left unchecked with no natural predators, because the gray wolf is not moving as far south as they want it to, though I think it's probably farther south than they think it is. These little suckers have come all the way from British Columbia to breed with our little beavers to make monster beavers. State record's 115 pounds. Do you know how much a 4-foot tall 115-pound beaver can saw down in one night? Holy mother. They can ruin so many acres in just a week. And that's just a family of 4 or 5. Imagine if you have a family of 8 to 12. We have got farmers that used to have 140 acres and now they only have 80 farmable acres because of these little shit tabs right here. These are not always good things. Population check, yeah, it has to happen. It has to happen. But if you also know conservation, it's paid for 90 something percent by hunters and trappers and fur harvesters. So it's not a leftist liberal that's paying money to save animals. They're paying money for a Green Deal so that they can have 6-year-olds go into lithium mines and become toxic and die before they're 12 so that they can have their iPhone. But it's okay because they don't have to witness that. At least I, at least I take on the burden of looking at this animal and saying, hey, I'm going to harvest you and I'm going to use you. And at least I give thanks for his soul and his spirit. And at least I give him an extended life and respect through the things that I make with him. So, if you really want to call down the fire, go to a Cherokee powwow or a Cherokee ceremonial meet. You will meet some of the best people that will teach you the most about this earth. And no, I'm half white, man. I'm half potato farmer. I'm half Scots Irish, but the rest of me is native. And I'm sorry, but my native half knows 110 times more than my potato farmer half. I don't care how sophisticated and social, they conquered the world. Yeah, but they never learned to live in harmony with nature, which is what I do. So, which is more important to you? Which probably neither, because what's more important is just making fun of people that you don't understand. And go look in the mirror, because honestly, son, I don't think you understand yourself. Cindy, yes, they need to touch grass and get off the internet. I mean, literally, if I could take everyone for 2 weeks and show them my lifestyle, they would be like, holy crap, I feel rejuvenated. I feel in tune with nature. I feel a happiness. I feel grounded. I feel much better. I've had so many friends tell me that, so many people that visit tell me that. And it's like you don't know what you're missing until you actually are brave enough to take a chance and visit it. And a lot of these people won't, or they'll go to a dude ranch or a 5-star treehouse hotel that is not even in a tree, and then they'll say, we roughed it, you glamped, you slept on a mattress in a tent that was more of a yurt that had AC and heat, and it was in a compound with 10-foot razor wire. No, camp out in my backyard where we have black bear go through every day. I've been sharing on my Facebook all the bears that have been going through. Like, they're roaming big time right now because the berries are fixing to start coming in. And so they're all trying to find their berry patches. So they're all running everywhere. And everybody's like, watch out for the bears. They're everywhere. Make sure you're looking both ways before you go berry picking. Because we have to try to get to the berries before the bears do, because people that want to make jelly, we got to get to them. And we have had, I think, 7 bears this week. It's smack dab in the middle of town. And it's just like, go away. Y'all have all the mountain. Go away. And we do get trouble bears from the Smokies. They trap them and put them here. So they get like a 3-strike rule. And if they keep coming in and they keep being destructive or dangerous, then they do get put down. But we've had bears everywhere this last week. They're just roaming. They're just out roaming, seeing what they can find. And sadly, it's a lot of mamas with cubs, which is really dangerous. And we've got a lot of new implants in our area from way out west, and they don't know how dangerous black bears are. They're used to grizzlies. Grizzlies are more territorial. Black bears, if a black bear looks at you, they see food. If a grizzly looks at you, they just want you off their land 9 times out of 10. They might scuff you up, roll you around, bite you a little bit. But once they think they've taught you, this is my land, they'll walk away. A black bear, once they get after you, they're normally going to eat you. So a black bear is actually one of the most dangerous bears. And did you know that pandas are actually more dangerous than grizzlies? I found that out when I was reading. I was doing some research, and I thought, wow, because pandas don't look dangerous, but they're actually much more dangerous than actually grizzlies. So the things you learn when you read, I wish more people would read. It would help me out. Clara, they don't get to me. They just frustrate me because the ignorance. I'm so tired of the ignorance in this younger generation. I'm so tired of the arrogance intertwined with the ignorance. And I'm so tired of people saying, oh, they must be stupid people to live like that. No, I'm not. We're very smart people. We're very smart people. Wait in a couple years and you'll know how smart we are. Y'all think the world's getting better? It's not. It's getting worse. Um, but it irritates me, the arrogance and the ignorance that's intertwined, because that's what we see all within our society. That's what we see all within our politicians. That is what is causing our world to fall apart. Arrogance and ignorance that are intertwined, and then they think that they're highfalutin little pieces of snot and they should rule the world and make rules for everybody, even though they don't know how 1/10 the population lives. And we should use this platform to learn more about each other instead of just hate on each other. And it's just like we have all of this at our fingertips to learn about each other and to learn positive things about each other. And what do? We use it for hate and to beat people down and to put people into a downtrodden emotional state. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out and let you know how stupid and ignorant you are. When you come on here and you spout stupid, stupid, stupid fallacies, I'm going to come on here with facts and I'm going to say, hey, you need to go and do some reading, because you know something? You may have a mouth, but you don't have a brain attached to it. Okay? You kind of need both. So that's just how I roll. It irritated me. And I have an idea where this is coming from. I think somebody's trying to pull me into some YouTube drama, and I'll address issues. But as far as like having a panel beef with somebody, no, this is not Jerry Springer. This is an educational platform. If I come back and I denounce someone, it will be with factual evidence, it will be with statistics, it will be with actual knowledge. And I'm not going to sit here and be like Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael. No, that's not. It's not. I'm here to give you a glimpse into my life, and if you want to say that it's not a good one, or it's one that does harm, then I'm going to come back and educate you. But I'm not going to have a beef with you personally. But I am going to ask, put some wrinkles in your brain, because you're lacking some education that is very necessary for where the world's going. Plant a seed, watch it grow, learn about germination, learn about heirloom seeds as opposed to seeds that have been modified. Understand how Monsanto has taken over the seeds. Understand how you are screwed and don't even know it unless you have lived a country life and see the modifications they're making in our grains, our seeds, and our livestock, and even the way our meat is produced and labeled. Made in the USA or butchered in the USA does not mean raised in the USA anymore. It just means so much poundage has come from another area that has been cut up in the USA. Pay attention. Read the bills and these things submitted to Congress. Read them so that you know what's going on. My goodness, put some wrinkles in your brain. So it's just, we've got to become smarter. We've got to become more unified. We've got to say, hey, you may not be me and I may not be you, but together we can do some pretty magical things. And we've got to stop hating each other just because we think there's something to fear in somebody else. There is way more to love in someone else than there is to fear in someone else. And I do not know when all that started, but it needs to stop. Because people are possibilities, not a penitence that you have to deal with. So I'll leave you with that thought. I'm going back to bed. I'm going to try to sleep. I don't feel good tonight. My body hurts. It's from all the flipping rain. And I finished the antibiotic and I'm just having a bad RSD night. But I'll be okay. I had a really good day and I'm going to go for a really good day tomorrow. I'm just not sleeping well right now. But Dave's snoring. He's sleeping good. So I'm going to go and try to get back to sleep. But I just felt, sometimes I just have to say these things. I just have to say these things. No one is God. No one has all the answers. And if you think you do, you are on the most abhorrent, wrong, lethal path. And I feel really bad for you. And I would hope that maybe I could bring some people from that dark path to a lighter path and say, hey, there are good people out there, good people I need to meet, good people that I didn't know were good people because I was too ignorant to open my eyes. But once my eyes have been opened, I see the worth of people that are not like me. Because I see other people and I look at them, it's like spices. They add so much, but you'll never know if you don't try it. And it's just like, why would you live such a bland life when you have such beautiful people that can add so much to your life around you? Why would you choose to be mean, belligerent, and to isolate yourself? Why would you choose to put yourself in that depressive state? Why would you choose to let your government talk you into hating people without factual evidence? I'm so tired about all this white supremacy crap. Y'all, I dealt with security threat groups. I couldn't round up enough of them people to raid a Costco, let alone take over the earth. I mean, it's going out of style, y'all. Do you know who the new issue, the new problem is? Well, it's mostly the people that are coming into our area that can't be tracked, that are given court dates that never show up, that disappear. They're running blind. They can become anyone. They're faceless, nameless. They can't be traced. We have no way to find them. We have no way to monitor them. And there's millions of them. And we have no way to monitor them because 90% of them don't come back to their court dates. And do you know how many children have been lost in our nation in the last 2 years? How do you justify that? How do you justify that? Oh, we're offering asylum and sanctity. Oh, but shucks, we lost them. Well, where do you think those children are if you can't find them? Where do you think they are? When there's no record, there's no fingerprints, there's no blood types, there's no court dates, there's no photographs, there's nothing. They were on their way to a sponsor's house that was not even vetted, and oops-a-daisy, we lost them. Where do you think those children are? There's a lot going wrong in our world right now. And if you're worried about me killing a coyote or a beaver, perspective. You need some perspective. So, anyway, that's my rant. I'm going to shut up now. I kept my mouth shut for almost 3 weeks when I was sick and near death, but now I've got a lot to say apparently. But, y'all, just because we don't live the same doesn't mean we can't learn from each other. And I'd much rather be learning from each other than remaining stupid and ignorant, which leaves big holes in your net when you're trying to, catch a break later on in life. You're going to need all the help you can get. And that help comes in the form of people. Make friends, not foes. Y'all have a wonderful night. Go to bed. Wake up. Smile. Be thankful for 3 things. And talk to 3 people and make their day better. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow too. After my doctor's appointment. I love y'all. Even if you came here to be hateful, I love you. I want you to have a better life. I want you to have a better momentum. I want you to have a better mindset. I want you to have a better heart. I want you to have a better respect about yourself. And because if you do those things, then you'll be able to learn how to apply those to others. Because you can't love other people if you don't love yourself. So normally if you're on here being hateful, it's because you don't love yourself. And that's sad. So, let's work on you. Find 3 things you like about yourself and run with them today. Brag about yourself. Find one skill, one talent that someone else doesn't have that you can have somebody appreciate. Start making you a priority. And pretty soon you'll be making other people priorities. And then you will gravitate toward wonderful crowds of people that will celebrate you and you can celebrate them. It really is that easy. Really. Okay, good night, y'all. I love yous. Words of wisdom. I'm done. I'm out of wisdom. But unless you're going to come and protect my waterways and my daddy's cattle farm, you can shut your mouth about the animals we harvest. It's just how I feel.